What's going on, everybody? This episode is brought to you by Family Ties Estate Sales. I have not personally worked with this company. I will fully admit that. But being a sponsor, the only way I would ever accept a sponsor is if I knew of them through a close family friend, through someone who I trust. And I know several people who have used this company. The owner is Scott, is a family-owned business. Family Ties Estate Sales. If you need to move, if you need help selling an estate, whatever the case may be, they handle all your needs. So go ahead and check them out. And we thank them for sponsoring this episode. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Unpolished podcast. We just did Less Polished with my man Marcus. Thank you so much again for making the drive.
Happy to be here.
Tune into the video series Less Polished. It is the show before the show. And now we get to sit down and we get into the nitty gritty.
Let's do it.
So we talked about it in Less Polished, but you are a former NFL guy.
I am.
So when I Google you, this is something that popped up right away. There was Dave called it a somewhat famous image of you running out with the American flag. Mm-hmm. And that was before it was like the cool thing to do because you played a while ago.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, what is your reaction to all the kneeling and things that happen now, we'll call it progressivism that has leaked into the sports world?
Yeah. Just a quick background on that photo. That was a week after 9/11. And, obviously the country was very patriotic then. Mm-hmm. And that would happen to actually be my first start. So all the starters got to bring in the American flag to the field. So that was a great honor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. But to answer your question, I'm not for it. If I'm coaching a football team, I'm not going to advocate my players do that. But again, we live in a country where, you have rights, to do that, to practice your beliefs. So all I can do is just, believe in what I believe in. And, hopefully, if I'm coaching a football team of young men, I'll let them know, hey, you're more than welcome to do that. But it's, I'm just going to let you know my beliefs. I do not.
So you would still allow it?
I would allow it. I would allow it, again, but.
Maybe with a sit down or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of let them know, hey, this is the situation. This is, these are my beliefs.
You see a little bit of everything now. That's why I asked. You see some coaches allow it. Mm-hmm. You see other coaches basically.
And I don't think people are doing it like they used to do, like, 4 years ago, like, Trump was in office, and that was just a F you to Trump to me.
Right.
People were just bucking the system. They just did not like Trump. The Libs did not like Trump, so they're going to do.
And that was
now everybody's patriotic, so everybody's patriotic now. Everybody's loving America. We just had the Olympics, and Brittany Griner's crying on TV. All of that stuff. So it just seems like that was more prevalent back, when Trump was in office. Seems like, like I said, Biden gets in office. You don't hear about police beatings anymore. You don't hear about racial riots. Did he solve all that? I don't know. Was the media just not covering it? Because it's still happening. But, mainstream media just seems not to, give the same attention when they did when Trump was in office. So.
Well, we had a guest on the show, Matt Kim, and he called it mass psychosis.
Yeah, Matt's awesome, yeah.
Mass psychosis, and the mainstream media, I feel like, is their main tool. Mm-hmm. But maybe, what's your opinion on it? I don't think mainstream media is mainstream media anymore.
No, not at all. It's, they call it, I guess, the fourth branch of government, the propaganda branch of the government. So, but yeah, man, that is actually the media thing. That's my whole, that is the center of my whole beliefs. I believe if the mainstream media, if they're pushing out stuff, I'm going to be very wary of what they're saying, So,
I almost want to do the opposite.
Yeah, I want to believe there's still some good journalists out there. I'm not going to say everybody at CNN and MSNBC are just awful people.
Well, I think they might even be involved in just the brainwash system. They might think like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm part of the biggest network ever.
Yeah.
I'm just helping out the biggest network ever. And
Yeah.
then they're being fed these stories to tell and they don't even know.
Yeah, yeah. It's more entertainment, you know, and it's more propaganda based than actually reporting the news, and very opinionative, you know. So I'm a Newsmax guy, you know. I don't even watch Fox News anymore. So
So why is that? Just out of curiosity.
they got rid of my man Tucker, man. Hey, I'm Team Tucker until I die, man. You know, and you know the crazy thing is, man, I was a stone cold progressive probably up until, you know, all of it. I believed all that shit that they were saying, man. But
that the world is racist and
yeah, I thought that, and like, you know, I get, you know, like on my Facebook, like you know, I don't want to say go to war with anybody, but I get a lot of pushback from my beliefs in my post. And it's like, hey, man, I thought just like you know, but I just came to realization that the media is not going to tell us the truth, you know, and I really started just looking at, you know, the other side and, you know, other political beliefs and, you know, just getting older, man, you know, that stuff that I believed before doesn't resonate with me anymore, you know. So
Can you give examples of what you're talking about? Like, what are some old school thoughts that you had as a progressive, or would you say you were a liberal?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some old school thoughts that you look back and you're like, man, that was dumb?
Yeah, you know, when you're younger, you know, you know, you're all for, you know, free education and, you know, especially being black, man, you want to think that everything is racist against you. But man, you control your own, and you control your own destiny. Don't get me wrong, racism is still very prevalent. I don't personally believe America is a racist country. I think America is a prejudiced country. You know, we all have our prejudices. You know, we all, you know, unfortunately grew up, you know, certain backgrounds, and you may say this and that, but I mean, it's no malicious intent. You know, you don't hate another race. You know, but yeah, all of that, man. I'm still, you know, I wouldn't say I'm kind of like in the middle, leaning more towards the right, I would guess. You know, so I'm not.
Not like full on conservative.
No, I think I'm full on conservative. It's just, what am I trying to say? I'm not necessarily. I don't want to say I'm necessarily a full blown Republican. You know, I have definitely conservative views, especially as far as religion. You know, I am a devout Catholic. You know, I need to do better with my Catholicism, but hey, man, you know, we're all human. You know what I'm saying? But I firmly believe in God. I firmly believe in a higher power. I firmly
Was that always a
believe in-
thing?
Always, yeah, never.
Because that doesn't really line up with the left at all.
No, not at all, not at all. But I mean, you know, you have a lot of Catholics that are liberals. You know, a lot. I mean, I've experienced. I went to school. I went to all Catholic schools, and you know, even in the Catholic schools, it's more towards the left. You know, the religious beliefs. So
I always thought that was really interesting.
yeah, very
I feel
much
like
so.
I feel like it's, you know, kind of an oxymoron.
But teachers that are employed by Catholic institutions don't necessarily have to be Catholic. You know, I mean, heck, there were Jews that went to my high school. You know, at a Catholic school. So, you know, it is what it is, man. But I mean, I believed all that. You know, Trump wasn't shit. Trump was a racist. But I'm like, man, this guy can't be that damn bad. So let me just look into it, you know, to see how he is. And it just seems like it just seems like the Democratic Party has had the presidency for 12 out of the last 16 years, right? So what have they done? And especially, what have they done for black people? You know, I can't see it, you know, so.
I know you saw this clip where
Yeah.
Joe Biden was talking to Charlemagne, and he's like, you ain't black if you ain't voting for me.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's another part of it that, you know, changed my thinking. It's like they expect black people to vote for them. It's, you know, they don't have to fight for it anymore, you know. They don't have to go into the communities. It's just, hey, blacks in Chicago especially are Democrat, you know. And if you don't believe that, you ain't black. Which is
That's crazy.
Complete asinine to me, you know. So, but you see a lot of what I'm seeing though. I'm seeing it's more of the older generation, like my generation and older, like the Gen X. You got a lot of people still stuck in those ways. But like your generation, millennials, especially like black millennials, Candace, someone really did make a spark in that, and you are seeing a shift, and I think that's
Huge
why,
Candace fan.
Yeah, and I think that's why you are seeing blacks starting to take their votes away from the Democratic Party, because she did a great job of opening people's eyes. Larry Elder, and it baffles me that you have so many intelligent and prosperous and well-to-do black people that label themselves Republican, and we just completely write them off because they're Republican. Like they're sellouts or something. It's like, come on, man.
There's got to be a reason, like no one wants to have a conversation. We just jump to all these conclusions, like, oh, you're black, you got to be a Democrat. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're white supremacist. Like it's like these conclusions that we jump, and they're so divisive, man. Mm-hmm. I can't have any conversations with anyone. Mm-hmm. It's like when the riots were going on, I had put something out. It's okay to be for fixing like a racism issue and also be against burning down and looting cities. Mm-hmm. I put something like that. And dude, all some of my old black teammates were like, dude, you're being racist. And I was like, I literally just said that's not like I could be for something and against another thing, like we don't need to put those in the same fight.
Yeah. But I mean, racism is just a trigger word now, and it's like it's just so overused. People don't. People are just so misinformed what the word racism is. It's like racism is a hate. It's institutionalized. It's like I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling that from a lot of people. Even when I was younger, I'm like, yeah, they're assholes. But overall, I've had really good experiences with people, hey, don't get me wrong. There's some people that have just faced that, and, especially like with the police. But it's like I have to use my life and, my experiences. Like I've never had any run-ins like that with the police, and I've been pulled over a lot of times. And then most of the times is when I'm in the wrong, So I would say 90% of it I'm in the wrong. So I have to humble myself because I fucked up, and I can't talk crazy to these people. I mean, I'm living in Florida during the Trump. I've lived in Florida during the Trump era, and this is supposed to be, ground zero of racist America, right? Florida, it's between 2016 and 2020. And there was no better place on earth for me going down there, man. Just in Naples, Florida, in that area, man. I got pulled over one day, and I was coming home from the bar. Shame on me. And I got pulled over. I was not driving like I was supposed to be driving, but
under the influence a little bit.
No comment. But just driving not how I was supposed to be. But I get pulled over, and I did not feel like he was going to take my life. I felt that if he suggested I was wrong, I would have to agree with him. I'm not going to argue with this man. And he just, hey, man, I made like a wrong turn. That's why he pulled me over, which is, I don't know, bullshit, whatever. But, police like to fuck with everybody, But,
well, also back in the day, at least my old neighbor told me they used to make commission on tickets. There was like some sort of incentive to make money. So, like, of course they're going to write it. If they see you make a wrong turn, of course they're going to try to take that opportunity.
Right. And I think, just my experience, I think if you are just, acknowledge that you messed up and,
just listen.
And, and they look you up, hey, man, this guy's never been in any trouble. He doesn't have any tickets, let me just give him a warning. So, but like I said, I can't speak for other people. I just speak on my experiences, so.
One thing that drives me crazy is the argument, I feel like, especially from people on the left, is like, we need to get rid of racism.
Mm-hmm. Never going to happen.
It's never going to happen.
Oh.
It's like
you are not going to change mindsets.
This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If there is, it's like if there's an asshole, he's just an asshole.
Yep.
You can't change every single asshole in the world. Plus, how boring would the world be if there were no assholes? So I don't think we're ever going to fix that. There's always going to be races. There's always going to be assholes. There's always going to be dickhead people. From a systemic point of view, do you think there is a systemic racism right now?
No, I don't believe that at all. I don't. And again, I use my experiences to judge that, but I don't come out of my house just feeling like I'm just going to be a victim of racism. You know, that's a victim mentality. But no, I don't. I think we have a prejudice problem. Absolutely. You know, but
So what do you mean by that?
you know, just hey, you know, the Chinese guys do this, the Mexican guys do this, you know, that type of shit, you know, not necessarily I hate Mexicans, I hate black people, you know, and
Stereotypes.
yes. And
Which I mean, they're
sometimes
stereotypes.
it's true,
They're
sometimes
stereotypes because they're kind of real.
Exactly. Get real about it, man. You know, and like, you know, you joke with your buddies and this and that, you know, as long as it's not disrespectful too much, you know, you know, like I'm from that generation, you know.
Well, you gotta be able to joke, man.
You have to.
You
really
gotta
do.
be able to joke. Like have a
take
thicker
joke.
skin. But now if you get someone's pronouns wrong,
Yeah, no,
they lose their minds.
No. I have really good gay friends, and they
Good segue.
yeah, no, you know, you were saying about pronouns,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so and they're not even with it, you know, all this weird shit, you know, they're older, and you know, they're saying like, hey man, these kids are crazy, man, these young LGBT community, they're nuts, you know, so they understand it, you know, so, but
Who cares if you're gay? If you're
nobody
gay
cares.
and you're running around saying,
Putting it in people's face.
yeah, if you're throwing in people's face, like in San Francisco, you know, they were literally giving blowjobs on the street. Did you see those videos?
I did not. No.
Dude, what
I
that
can
was during like
imagine
Pride parade or something?
Pride
Yeah, and then
They
have
were
kids
giving
in the
blowjobs on the street, dude.
That's
And then there was I saw a video of a guy, he was sitting in like a little kiddie pool, and he had a sign that says, pee on me, and dudes would walk up and just pee on him. Golden shower.
And you know, I think you know, and that's the media. You know, the media just gives. You know, I've been to a Pride parade, a few of them, and I've had a good time. I haven't seen any overly sexual stuff like that. Does it occur in different segments of the? Yeah, probably, but. For the most part, and I've even talked to some of the organizers of it. They want to put on a good show for the people. They want it family friendly, but like you said, it's fucking idiots. There's idiots out there, you know, on both sides.
Idiots and sickos, man.
Very sickos, yeah.
Sickos.
Yeah. So
Like this pedophile stuff going on,
Yeah.
this like push to make kids choose their gender at age 3.
right.
Dude, I got an almost 4-year-old upstairs. I'm pretty sure if I really wanted to, I can convince him to put on whatever clothes.
Right.
You know, in 2 seconds. Like they are the most easily gullible little children, and we're saying, oh, they can choose their gender. Bullshit, they can choose their gender. They don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. That goes with parenting too. You know, it's you know, it's unfortunate that anybody can make a baby nowadays, and you know. Hell, you don't have to take a class. You don't have to have any experience. I just have a baby, and idiots making babies, and it's very unfortunate for these young people that you have a large pool of people that are just terrible parents across the board, man, across the board.
Well, I think one of the big issues, and this is one thing I want to talk to you about because you're basically in the city. You're in the heart of it.
Oh yeah.
I share a lot on Instagram, and I have a common theme. I'll share, you know, some sort of shooting or something going on in Chicago, and I'll just simply put "get out of the city." What's it like being in there? Are you noticing a crime rate? Like,
Yeah, I'm 46 years old, man. I don't go up past midnight, so I don't see it personally. You hear about it all the time.
so do you hear it more? Has it gotten worse?
No, I personally don't think so. I think that the media coverage of it has gotten more. But, man, Chicago in the late 80s, early 90s was terrible. Just like how New York was just terrible back in the late 70s. I don't believe, because you have a lot of like college grads and young people like your age moving to the city, you know, so you don't see it's there, but you don't see it's in segments, you know. So you can perfectly find a neighborhood in Chicago where none of that stuff is happening or little to none. You know, it's a big city. You're going to get your break-ins. You're going to get your muggings. But I'm not going to an area, or I'm not visiting the area, or I'm not visiting anyone where that shit is occurring, you know? So Chicago is a large city. It's the now it's the fourth largest city. Houston's so damn big. But unfortunately, you're going to have that occur, but there certainly can be a better approach to lessening those violent crimes. Absolutely. But I love Chicago. I absolutely love it. I'll never move. My wife and I do live in Mexico during the wintertime, so we love both, man. So I personally never leave Chicago. And like I told you, I love it out here, man. You know, I love Chicago, and I don't like when people badmouth it, because Chicago is just so much more what you see on mainstream media, you know, those media outlets. And like I said, man, you do not have to go in those areas. Don't get me wrong, some of that, especially you go downtown nowadays, some of that stuff comes to you. But I'm not going to live, and my wife is certainly, you know, she's a Chicago girl too. She doesn't live in fear of that stuff occurring, you know.
That's good. And as soon as you said that, I was like, oh man, I was bad mouthing Chicago walking in.
I hear it all the time, man, and it's all good. And hey, and rightfully so. I mean, there is a lot of shitty parts of Chicago. It really is, and it needs a change. And that's a lot of the reason why I am so disappointed with the Democratic Party. You know, you've run this city for 90 years, and it just keeps on happening. you know,
well,
so the definition is insanity to keep doing shit over and over again. You know, so I don't know, man. I don't know if a Republican's going to fix it, but you know, I don't ever see Chicago going into Republican rule, but especially black folks, we you know have to understand, man. We're going to have to fix this city and stop pointing the finger. You know. We're going to have to get our neighborhoods right. We're going to have to stop moving out to the suburbs, stay your ass in the city, invest in the city, fix it. Yeah, exactly.
Rather than run away from it.
You get a lot of that's why I argue with the most, these college-educated suburban black folks that just, you know, that may have been previously from the city. Oh, we got to help the city. I'm like, well, shit, you don't spend any money in the city. You know, there's no real estate involved. There's no commercial stuff involved. You know, so
what's your answer? How do you fix Chicago and what's going on?
Yeah, people have to stay in the city. People have to reinvest in the city. They stop going out to the suburbs, man. You know, and I understand. You know, I understand school systems are better in the suburbs, but you know, that's when you have to start getting on these local school councils and start, you know, making a change yourself. You know, for instance, you have the Chicago's Teachers Union. I heard that something like none of their children attend public schools. So, you know, you're pushing for advocating for Chicago public schools, this and that. We need more money, but your children don't even go to the damn schools. So that's part of the problem. You know, you're scared to put your kids in school and get this education, but you want to, you know, it's just, it's people have to take more accountability with that, man. You know,
I know you haven't noticed it, but I do think the statistics, and Alex, you probably know this better than I do. Mm-hmm. I do think the statistics say that there has been an increase in crime. There has been an increase. Like I know, like 4th of July was a big one that all the people on the right were hitting. Like 100 people died on the 4th of July weekend or something like that. Or no, got shot or injured.
Yeah, I think
got
shot
and injured.
I was like, 100 people died.
Damn. Yeah, no.
That's bad.
That's really bad.
No, got shot and or injured.
Yeah,
but in the 100, I know some people did die. I think a big answer to try to fix Chicago too is to increase the police force 100%. Because if you increase the police force, you make things safer. You make things safer, you make more businesses want to go in there.
Yeah. That's obvious. That's the obvious answer, but you don't have a large pool of people that are trying to be police officers.
I know. Well, so, especially after everything that's happened.
They want more. You know, you see recruiting billboards all over the city, man. Hey, man, shit, we pay you $75,000 coming out. That's a pretty good job for a 22-year-old, you know, coming out of college or whatever. But yeah, it's just been a challenge to get people to even go into the force, into the academy.
Well,
so
we demonized them for 2 years straight.
that didn't help.
For 2 years straight because, and don't get me wrong, we just talked about the George Floyd thing.
Yeah.
It was bad. It was bad. Derek Chauvin's a dumb motherfucker. Like, he knelt on his neck for sure. Did George Floyd listen? No, he didn't listen to anything.
Not at all, no.
You watch the video, he was high on drugs, very high on drugs. He wasn't listening to any commands. Dude knelt on his knee and murdered him 100%. But that does not represent officers.
Absolutely not. No.
Not even close, man. Millions and millions of interactions happen every second of every day that go pleasantly well. Cops do their job. And then we magnified the situation and we burned down Chicago. We burned down Milwaukee. We burned down Minnesota. What was the town?
What's the
Ferguson.
But yeah.
Missouri.
Ferguson, Missouri. Yeah. So shoot, I don't want to be a cop. Like we put this huge image on them like they're all bad people. Like blue lives don't matter. Like, what do you mean blue lives don't matter?
But yeah, like I said, it's changing now. It's like, shit, you had 13,000 cops at the DNC, man. So, now everybody wants cops because they see how important they are. Being Trump was in office, and like everybody hated the cops, and now everybody loves the cops. They want more police protection. So it's the media, man. That's what it is. The media gives these people their marching orders. Oh, okay, especially like older folks, man. Shit, that's, they're not on social media. They're,
that's all they do is watch the news.
Yeah,
Man. They're just bored.
Yeah, they don't go find out independent means of news. They got, I got ABC, I got CNN, and I got NBC.
I'm good. I got it all right here.
Yeah,
They're telling me everything I need to know.
That's exactly
Coronavirus
right.
is going to kill you.
That's exactly right. So it's a shame. It's a shame that people don't seek out their own information.
So you had, it sounds like you had a little bit of like that, we call it Trump derangement syndrome, or the right calls it Trump derangement syndrome. Like you were just like anti-Trump, did not like Trump. That was actually, when I saw that, the push to hate Trump, that's actually what got me into politics. Because I'm like, didn't everyone just love this guy?
Yeah, true.
Because he was going on shows. He was like, everyone loved Trump. Everyone wanted to be Trump. Everyone wanted him on their show and everything. And then all of a
rappers
sudden,
call themselves, I'm the Black Donald Trump.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. So I'm like, okay, hold on. Why are they hating on this guy so much? And I just didn't see it. And early on, I was like, I want to do the opposite of what these people are telling me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got so vocal about all this.
Yep.
So is that the same for you too?
Exactly. Yeah, I would say when Corona hit, and I was in Florida, and yeah, man, it was a paradise down there, man. And everybody's up here suffering, and
Everything's shut down.
Yeah, hell, I got sick. I got sick as shit, But
yeah, COVID hit me pretty good.
Yeah, it hit me pretty good, But
was it the worst sickness you ever had?
Absolutely not. No, absolutely. Worst sickness I had was probably in Mexico. Food poisoning in Mexico. That was really bad, man. But no. I mean, it was just I probably slept for a good 18 hours, But next day I felt better than that day. But I started to, get into the vitamins and stuff, to boost your immune system. That really helped, and I still do it. But yeah, I would say when Corona hit, I just started to look more at Trump. It's like, is he really doing this bad of a job? Is he really this guy he says people are? And I just started saying, no, man, this guy's not that bad. He's actually he's got a lot of good points, and.
Well, and his policies align with you politically.
Yeah, it did. Like I said, I started to make my change like in 2020. Yeah.
So you're pretty recently.
Recent, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I'm recent, yeah.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not vote in 2016. I think I may have wrote in somebody. I don't remember. But
just fill in a blank.
Yeah, right. But because there was no way in hell I was voting for Hillary. Even though I was a Democrat.
So why you say that? Why you say that? Like, why wouldn't you vote for Hillary?
She just gives me an evil person, evil villain.
Same.
evil villain aura about her, man.
There is 100%,
So,
100%, man.
yeah, it just,
And Bill Clinton was on that Epstein flight log 37 damn times. You think Hillary wasn't, involved with that Epstein at all? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. And also, where's the client list?
Yeah, that ain't never going.
It's never coming out.
That ain't never coming out.
But we know Trump wasn't on it, because if Trump was on it, they would have already used that to the fullest.
Yeah, I got in an argument with somebody about these 34 felonies. I'm like, this is like
They don't even know what they're charged for.
They don't even know what they're charged, but it's a felony. I'm like, is it really a felony? Like, is it really a felony?
It's a felony because they call it a felony.
Exactly.
But
exactly.
when you look back, Barack and the Barack administration, Obama administration, they did something extremely similar. I'm going to butcher the details. Maybe you can look it up. But they made almost an exact payment out of their personal funds or something like that. It wasn't hush money, but it wasn't used as campaign money. But they got a fine. They got like one of the biggest fines ever, but it never touched any media. But Trump does it, and years later,
he's just following suit. I'm like, hey, they did it. Why can't I do it?
Right, exactly. So now, what's your take on this whole Kamala situation?
So my whole thing about Kamala Harris is that
is she black?
She is a person of African descent. I would say that just because her father is Jamaican, and Jamaica is just one stop on the slave trade. Her ordeal. So yeah. She has that in her. Whether she
I know she's like half Indian and like half black, right?
Yes.
It's something like that.
I guess. But my whole thing with Kamala is I just do not see this woman in charge of our military, especially when we are in such a position on the brink of World War III. I do not see this woman leading us and being victorious out
I can't take her seriously.
No.
Whenever she talks, I don't know. I've tried to put like my biases aside and everything, but I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
No.
What's that freaking quote she says over and over and over again?
Yeah, do you know about that?
What?
That it's like a Marxist like rallying cry?
Which one?
The one to
I
be
can
unburdened by what has been.
Yeah, unburdened by what has been.
Yeah.
And like whatever.
I didn't know it was a Marxist thing.
Yeah, it sounds like just fucking gibberish, and everyone thinks like she's just an idiot. But I saw
she knows what she's
Charlie Kirk talking to what's his name? I can't remember, but he was like, "No, that's straight out of Marxism. Like she is a Marxist, and that's where that comes from."
Well, she's promoting communism. She's on film a couple times.
Is this what you're talking about?
Oh, your campaign failed to disclose $2 million in contributions. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was like almost identical. It was because the whole Trump thing is like he made a payment out of personal funds when it should have been campaign funds, right?
Yeah.
And I think this was extremely similar. So the campaign failed to disclose 1,312 contributions totaling $1.9 million that were transferred from a fund used to raise money to the Democratic National Committee. Yeah, it's something like that. But I know they paid a huge fine, like one of the biggest fines in like administration history, and it never touched media at all. Didn't make it anywhere
Because they wanted him in office.
Neither did his former cook, his former chef, going missing on his property.
Ah,
see
yes. Well, that was in and out of the media.
Yeah.
That was in the media for like a day.
And it
Like
probably shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this guy's just happened to be missing. And it just happens to be on the Obama estate,
Yeah.
So, but it's all good,
Oh, and he was a strong swimmer.
Yeah.
So he was a literal swimmer. There's like film of him swimming in the water.
Right.
Because some media outlet was like, oh, maybe he wasn't a great swimmer, and then like a conservative posted him swimming, like swimming
He's out
strong
there
in the
Michael
pool.
Phelpsing it out there.
Yeah.
And shit.
Yeah. And then they measured the
man.
depth of the water at the vineyard, and it was like 4 feet.
Unbelievable.
But he died. Then, like, what? Nobody's got questions.
I can't imagine how many bodies Hillary and the Obamas and Bidens have, man.
Well, like
I-
these. No, it's.
I don't want to get in trouble, but Hunter Biden's killed somebody before, man. I mean, Joe's been covering up for that kid for his whole life.
Oh yeah.
Man.
Well,
he's got some dead hooker somewhere, man.
Somewhere. I mean, he's always involved with some sort of drug scheme or whatever.
Yep.
Oh, what about the drugs in the White House? Like, we seriously don't know who those were?
It's a laughing stock.
No clue.
A place that should be locked down.
The most guarded place
the
on
most
earth.
The most guarded place on earth. We're like, whose cocaine is this? Man. Whose is this?
It's a joke, man.
And the videos of Hunter Biden that came out from his laptop of like banging strippers and sniffing cocaine off butts, those are all real. Mm-hmm. Those are all real, and those never touch the media. Imagine if that was like Donald Trump Jr.
They've done such a good job of not embarrassing their father. You know, they're just good people to me. You know,
it seems like it.
They're good fathers, they're good mothers. You know, so I don't know. And then you got the Bidens, man, and even Obama's kids. They're weirdos, kind of a little bit. You know, so I don't get it, man. I really don't.
So, what do you say to someone maybe that's also black that's stuck in those progressive ways? You
know what's funny? I have a friend, a white dude from Maine, and he's a boat captain down in Marco Island, and he was straight Bernie Sanders liberal type. And I'm like, hey man, that's cool, man. We can still be friends, But I'm just saying, I just have started to gravitate more towards the Republican, the conservative party.
Did he get rid of you?
No, absolutely not. That's the thing I'm going to tell you. So he was like, man, you're black, man. How the hell can you do that, man? It's like, well,
that's racist. What you just said is racist. You just told me how to vote because of my skin color.
Pretty much. But I'm like, well, I mean, you should look into it, man, just like I did. Because like I said, I voted for Bernie Sanders. Hell, at one point, I was even Green Party, man. I was totally locked in the progressive stuff, man. But as soon as the Trump assassination happened, he was like, you know what? I think you're right, man. This guy stood up, and, this is the kind of guy I want to lead my country. So now he's a Trump fan. I'm like, yeah, I mean, absolutely. You need a strong figure to go against all of these psychos that are all over the world, man.
Well, there's a really cool clip of, it was, I think, some sort of Asian prime minister or something, but his reaction to Biden and his reaction to Trump. So Biden walks in the room, and this guy kind of goes like, like when you take that look at someone, like, you're a joke. And they caught that on camera, and then they put that next to Trump, and you could tell he was like shit his pants when Trump walked in the room. And do I think that's completely necessary as a leader? Not completely, but does it help? Absolutely. Because I don't think there's any way we would have any sort of wars going on with the U.S. involved if Trump was still president. Because Trump's like, you do something, yeah, I'm gonna take some serious measures.
Based on his record, yes, absolutely. Based on his record, yeah. Because I mean, it just wasn't happening under his presidency. Yeah.
So, going back to the whole Kamala thing, if you had to pick, who's winning this presidency?
Here's what I think, man. Let me take a sip of water.
Let it out, man. Unpolished, no filter.
Yeah, no filter, no problem. So I don't think the Democrats think they have a chance in hell in winning, honestly. If they did, they would have been preparing this woman over the last 4 years. And she was kind of like the default pick.
She's the DEI last-minute throw-in.
She's the default, yeah. She's the default pick to me. If they really wanted this woman to lead our country in the future, they would have given her more responsibility. I think they would have been grooming her to take over when Joe Biden. And the plan should have been, Joe, you run 4 years, Kamala's going to get the next 8. That should have been the plan. But it just doesn't seem it was like that. It seems like they were all in for Joe until they just started getting too embarrassed about his antics. And they just had to go with Kamala because Gavin Newsom's not ready yet. So I think that
He's so hated, though. You know, when people
Gavin
say
Newsom
Gavin
is
Newsom,
the Antichrist to me.
he's so hated, man. There's no way.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Trump's going to get reelected, but they're going to make Trump's presidency hell. I think he's
Blame everything on him.
Exactly. I think we are still going to go to war. I think, and then he's going to play out his 4 years, and then all of a sudden now Gavin Newsom is the savior. He's going to fix everything because we told you Trump was terrible. I think Trump's still going to get some good things done domestically, but I think that stuff overseas is already in full effect, man. We're going to war. It's already written, man. And Gavin's going to come in, take his seat as the Antichrist.
He looks like that evil. He looks like
Exactly.
the evil character, like Hillary. Hillary's got that
Yes.
evil aura.
And
to
you
her.
know, in the biblical sense, what is Lucifer? What is the devil? The devil is his most handsome, his most beautiful angel. You know, so
But he's good looking, but he's creepy at the same time. You know, he's like a good looking dude, but he's got that creepy look.
They'll
man.
change the Dems' mind in 4 years. They'll change their mind. Like I said, he's not ready yet. He's not ready to go yet. But I think
He's just so hated, though, man. I don't see him being a good pick. I feel like someone's gonna come out of nowhere. I
the
could
hell-
be wrong.
nobody thought Kamala had a chance in hell to be the president. Now,
The
I mean,
media.
everyone hated her like
exactly.
4 months ago.
I know. She was the most hated vice president,
Exactly.
being polled everywhere, and now everyone's like, "Oh, she's amazing. She's the best. She's the answer."
You
Blah,
don't think
blah.
that can't happen with Gavin Newsom?
That's true. But,
I'm just saying
he's
that's
a
his
straight
line.
white male. He's the most racist you can be.
Good point.
If you're a straight white male, you're just racist.
They don't got no more black people to put up there, man. And they're not really putting full-fledged black. They're putting, you have to have been mixed with something, there's really nobody that they have deemed. There's nobody I can see in the future that they have kind of pegged to be the next president as a Democrat, black-wise, So I don't see it happen. I don't ever see a fully 100% black American male or female ever being the president of the United States of Democrats. I think Tim Scott and Byron Daniels could be excellent presidents in the future, So I hope the Republican go that way. I hope they get behind Tim Scott in the future. I think he could be an excellent president for us. I thought Colin Powell had been an excellent president, So we'll see. We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah, it's always funny to me to think about how we have this whole country, this whole, pool of political people, and the two people that we have to vote for, or at least looking back at the Joe Biden era, was Dementia Joe and, super controversial, egotistical Trump. Like, those are our two options. Like, come on, man. We have so many smart, awesome, amazing people in this world. Like, I would love to see Candace Owens run, but she's too smart. She's too smart to ever get involved with that shit.
Yeah, no, she makes too much money, and she's too smart to get into that. Now, I'll tell you who I see as a sleeper for the Democrats in the future. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
You think so?
Yep.
I thought he said something though where he stepped away from supporting the left and Joe.
We'll see. We'll see.
Man, that would piss me off. That would
support
piss me off so much.
Joe.
He did that whole Zoom thing with Joe, and he supported Joe.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I saw him say something publicly like, "Oh yeah, I kind of regret voting for Joe or whatever."
Yeah, he didn't denounce the Democratic Party, did he?
No, he did not denounce the Democratic Party.
A lot of people denounced Joe. So, yeah, I can see him being a sleeper. He's a celebrity. He's a good-looking guy. He's an amazing man. He's black, half black. I don't know.
Got that Samoan blood.
And he's straight Hollywood, man. He'll follow marching orders. He'll follow marching orders, man. So we'll see. We'll see. But hey, the next president, the next Democratic president is definitely coming out of California, though. 100%. Whoever that may be. Because that's how they want the country, man. Socialist ass California, man.
I know. It's crazy. I don't. And this young generation thinks socialism is the answer. Mm-hmm. They've never even seen socialism.
I think in a sense that a lot of young people felt that way. A lot of young people felt that, hey, and that's just young people being young people. Hey, I want to help people out, and I get that. But once you get older, man, you got kids, you got more responsibilities. Like, look, I got to take care of myself, man. I can't be worried about what old boy doing, So, but yeah, I think young people in general have always leaned left for that reason. But it's
college definitely helps that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they go to college and that's what they're pushing.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what they're pushing.
But socialism is definitely ramping up across America, and they've been hitting the black community for years, with socialism, just because a lot of black people were in dire straits in the past, so they. Hey, no, this socialism, this is where the way you need to go so we all can be equal. I don't believe in equality, man. I believe in merit. I look at myself as like, okay, I've worked my ass off to get to the NFL and, be at a point in my life that I'm, obviously you want to, strive for more, but it's like, I work for that, man. I don't want to have to share what I've gotten, I've accumulated or I've accomplished with somebody that doesn't work like that, So I think we just have to make sure that we understand that we, you have to be of value in this world, man. You just can't expect handouts and people doing stuff for you, man. You can't, man. You got to get it on your own, man. So
I couldn't agree more.
Socialism is essentially just telling people
you can work as hard as you want and everyone's going to get the same thing in the end.
Exactly.
So I believe in equality, equal opportunity. I don't believe in sharing the equity.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's got the same opportunity. I mean, some people, all right, you got shitty hand dealt to you.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that you deserve, this person's $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
You have, especially in America, you can come up with an idea tomorrow and you can become a millionaire.
Exactly. Yep.
That's the beautiful thing about America.
Mm-hmm.
And it drives me nuts. Like outside the DNC, they were burning American flags.
Oh, it was a shit show outside.
So, were you around that at all?
Oh, no. Absolutely not, no.
But they were burning American flags, and I'm just like, how are we still doing that? How are we still doing that? That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, you are in the best country in the world, especially like LGBTQ. I think that's so funny that they're like for Palestine. Because if they were gay in Palestine, I'm pretty sure you get like murdered, beheaded, death.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't speak for the whole LGBTQ.
No.
Because I mean, there are some really cool LGBTQ conservatives.
Very
and
true.
you're like, no, we can't be doing that. Come on now.
Very true.
It's just your political thinking. That's what's.
No, I'm just referring to like those shock videos with LGBTQ flags flying around and then marching pro Palestine, and it's just like that.
Yeah,
those
crazy, man.
It's backwards. They don't go together. It's like it ain't peanut butter and jelly.
Exactly.
That's like peanut butter and spaghetti. Like that doesn't work like that. So I see that and. I don't understand how we're still burning flags. So,
but I mean, you have a right to do that in this country. So that's unfortunate, but
I wouldn't stand by if someone's burning a flag.
Of course not. You got a right. You got a right to kick somebody's ass too.
I got a right to.
Well, you don't got a right to.
Just a swift kick right in the belly button. Put the flag away.
Yeah.
I don't even let flags touch the ground, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I hate that. I hate that stuff. Awesome, man.
We got like 10 minutes, by the way.
Yeah, I've been keeping track. So I don't want him to be held up. But I know you got this Midwest prep school. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah. So Daniel was involved.
Client Daniel.
Yeah. There you go. But so what we essentially are trying to accomplish with Midwest Prep is to serve as a. We're trying to help people's transition from high school to college athletics, make it a lot smoother. So a lot of young men just essentially are not ready physically, mentally, socially prepared to go into college and be a success, especially nowadays, So what we try to do is, we train our young men. We take them on college bus tours. We give them mental coaching. So, we just try to provide services to help that transition move a lot smoother. That's all.
So you're like an actual school? Like were you or you're like a
Yeah, we used to be an actual school. So we offered classes. We offered ACT prep classes. We offered GPA recovery classes. We had a full.
what is that? GPA recovery class.
Yeah, so you are able to replace 1 to 4 grades from high school.
What?
Yeah, depending on your situation. Yeah. So,
Damn. It's like cheating.
Yeah, for whatever reason, and we
It's
didn't
allowed.
get.
If it's allowed, it's allowed.
Yeah, we didn't get a lot of those young men, but for the most part, it was due to not having enough credits. So they had to take one more class to get up to the credits. So we didn't have a lot of young men there just because they failed class. And the NCAA really, vets that stuff. So but the ACT class was huge. We've had jumps from 13 to 26 on the ACT.
Damn.
Yeah, so we're really proud of that work we did. But we've kind of scaled back from all of that and transitioned to a non-for-profit organization. So we're actually also working with 7th and 8th graders now, making that transition to high school, because that's a big jump for those kids. It's a big jump for those kids. So we try to get them, acclimated on, hey, this is what you need to do. This is the approach that you need to do athletically. We help them train, get them up to speed on, high school techniques that they're going to need to be successful.
I would actually advocate even more on the 7th, 8th grade, going into high school, because
Absolutely.
if you can get started 4 years earlier, oh man, you're set for freaking life. Especially with someone of your values too. I'm sending my kids to you, man. That would be awesome. But from the high school perspective too, you see so many kids not physically developed, and they need that extra 1 to 2 years.
Yep.
Like me, I kept growing. I was 208, my senior year. And then after my freshman year of college, I was 255. Like I just kept growing. So I could see the huge benefit with that program.
And just with the just with college football now, you have to be ready going in. There's no more waiting 2-3 years for you to develop. You got to be ready in 18 months, man, and hit that field and go and contribute. So the stakes are very, very high nowadays, and way more for high school kids, because now a college program essentially can just go into free agency and get, retool their roster. They don't have to rely on high school anymore.
I was going to ask you, what's your take on this new environment with all these transferring and this trading and these NIL deals and all this stuff?
Yeah, it's not going to stop. I think all this stuff stems with the parents, man. It stems with the parents. It's like, first off, make sure you vet these schools, make sure you're involved with the process with your kid, and then make sure that you make an educated decision and stick with the decision. Now, if there's a situation where, certain circumstances come up, I get it. But if you have a kid that's just running from competition, that's a problem for me, and unfortunately, a lot of parents are letting their kids get away with that. They're letting their kids not work for what they want. Like, hey, man, I spent all this damn money when you were in high school and grade school, and now you run away from competition. I'm not good with that, So,
You know what's stemming from too? At least part of my argument. It's all these daddy ball programs. It's like travel baseball, for instance. If someone's kid doesn't make a team, what does dad do? Oh, I'm gonna go start a team over here. So they get saved at a very young age. So when they don't go to a freaking 4-year and they don't start right away, or they're put forth on the depth chart or whatever, they don't want to they don't want to serve their time. Like, oh, where's my dad? My dad will start another college for me. Like, I definitely think that's part of the problem.
I would like to see it start from the youth level. I would like to see that regulated, like a universal league. And
how do you regulate that, though?
I don't know, but it needs to be. Even like the leagues now, it's like you want to, people just have to have money to start a team, and it needs to be regulated in the sense that we're going to cut down the amount of teams, and we're even
Almost like give them areas.
exactly. Yep.
Like the same way like a salesperson would work in a big
Exactly.
like sales force.
Yep.
This is your region.
Exactly.
This is your region.
That's exactly right. And then pay the coaches. You don't got to pay them thousands of dollars.
But make it worth their time.
Yeah, give them some gas money. Give them some gas money, and they'll come out. And now you have a bigger and better pool of coaches. Not just, hey, don't get me wrong, the dads that come out and volunteer, that's great, and they want to be involved with their sons. But these kids need to be coached by professional coaches,
Or very well trained dads.
Very well trained coaches.
Because I know some dads that are pretty damn good coaches, and it's because of like the coaching from other coaches.
Of course.
So the potential for good dads and good coaches is there.
But you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Them dads that played 1 year high school football, now they think they're Bill Belichick, so
they come with the hoodie and everything.
Man,
the cutoff sleeves.
It's crazy, man. Youth football is so crazy. It's a shame for these kids, and now they got travel football. These kids are hitting year round, traveling all over.
They get burnt out.
Absolutely, straight up.
So I don't want to hold you any longer. The last thing we do in our show, we always ask everyone for a piece of advice. So what kind of one thing I love about you and that Dave told me about you is that you are for the youth, and you could hear that in your words, and obviously you're doing this whole school thing for the youth. So what kind of advice would you give, let's say someone in high school who wants to achieve great things, maybe go to the NFL, go to the MLB, whatever. What kind of advice would you give a young kid?
Yeah, no problem. So I got a buddy that's a NFL scout, and he said that their particular team looks for guys that love football, guys that hit practice every day with an intensity and an intent to get better, guys that love football, guys that love to be around football. So what I give the advice to kids, I say, hey, man, you don't have to be the most talented, but you got to be a guy out there. You have to love this game, and you have to give it your all. If you do that, you're going to have more success than not. Hit practice with an intent every day, show out in the games, be a good person. If you do that, you're going to end up in a good situation.
Awesome. And have fun, man. Just have fun.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
if you love football, if you love it, you're having fun.
Right,
Absolutely,
exactly.
yeah.
But a lot of kids, what I see is they go to college and it turns into a job.
Yeah.
That happens with all sports. That happens with baseball, football. I've seen it happen with some of our kids too. They get there and they're just like, man, I just want to be a kid. I'm like, it's a balance. It's a balance for sure. But think about how many guys get the opportunity that you get. Less than 1%.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we had a kid tear his ACL a few weeks ago. We just found out that it was a tear. And he was one of those kids, man, just excited to be out there, worked his ass off in practice. Now he misses his whole senior year. So we told the kids yesterday, it's like, look,
could be taken away.
Yeah, it could be taken away like that. But just think about this kid. This kid is doing everything right. You have a great honor being out here, and don't waste it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, man.
Yeah,
if
thanks for
there's
having me.
ever anything I could do, if you ever need help with training or anything,
Absolutely,
or if
yeah.
we want to link up with some lineman camps or whatever, I'm happy to help. Thank you so much.
I'd love to come up here and do
Yeah,
some
it'd be
things,
fun.
Yeah.
It'd be really fun. The more I can get involved with football, especially lately, I miss it. I miss it a lot, man. I miss it a lot. But thank you so much for making the drive and coming on the show. We really appreciate it, dude.
My pleasure, yeah.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
Sweet, man.